Is there intelligent alien life? And if so, has the government been covering it up?
What is going on, everyone? We have another good one for you. Stezo and Chris are here back again, like usual. So Chris provided us with another good video tonight to kind of go over. This one has to do with Tucker Carlson and what he believes. He's talked a lot in the past like half a year about what he thinks they are, UFOs and UAPs. You know, he says that they're entities, they're spiritual beings. He thinks they've been here since the dawn of time, which, like, I'm not opposed to that theory at all. I know, right. Chris, you agree with me on that. Stezo,
yeah.
Go on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think that's possible. I think it's highly possible.
Yeah, Chris, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, out of all the theories, that one to me makes the most sense. It doesn't, you know, there's no off-world travel. There's no, you know, nothing coming from hundreds of millions of light years across the galaxy. They've been here the whole time, you know, so that makes more sense to me.
It does make sense. It's I don't like to discount. He's kind of all or nothing. I mean, with most of his viewpoints, right? Like he's very opinionated and tends to believe his truth and his worldview. I'm more open on it, and I think you guys are too. That very well he could be right that there are beings that have been here forever. I'm not going to discount the fact or possibility, not the fact, the possibility that there are also other crafts coming from, you know, different areas of the world.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, let's just get into this one. Let me make sure the volume's up.
But the incoming president has said, he just said, I'm going to tell you what those drones were about.
He was very relaxed about it too. I mean, I was struck that when he said it twice. He said it again recently, like last week, right? But then he said it in December. He goes, I don't know why they're buying. Like, I don't know why they're not telling people what they are. They know what they are. And I was like, I mean, it was a really. He made it sound like it's no big deal. Like we should just tell people what it is. But if Trump knew what it is, and if it's NHI and Trump knows that, he seemed very relaxed about that because, of course, the conventional wisdom among people that follow this who think it's NHI is that it's bad news.
Can you pause it?
That it's not a great.
See, that circles back to the thing I think about the drones not being. The drones and the NHI. I don't think are the same thing. Like the drones and the orbs, I don't think it's the same thing. So I think Trump was relaxed about the drone talk because I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I agree. And we've kind of, all three of us have gone back and forth on, we all have kind of different opinions, I think, on what is happening with the drones specifically. I'm of the thought that they are human intelligence, you know, human technology that are not declassified to the majority of the government, which is why you have local and even, you know, federal government like Congress confused as or have no idea what they are. But I think there is a certain section of the government that does know what they are. You guys have your own viewpoints on it. I agree, though, that the drones, I think maybe at this point now that it got so big, maybe a lot more of the government has been declassified now on it. That's kind of where I stand. And then the NHI, who's talking about the non-human intelligence, I think is
I think it's something completely different. Has nothing to do with the drones. Too.
And I think that orb video in the UK could have possibly been real, like, you know, and that's what the drones are either searching for, or maybe it is nuclear material. Steve, do you have anything to chime in on before we continue the video?
No, go ahead. That sounds exactly what I've been thinking this whole time. Keep playing. I'm on board.
Story that if it were good news and that they were just friendly space brothers, you know, offering us, you know, advanced tech, then, and they'd be like, and there's no strings attached or whatever, that would be a much easier story to sell. But if there's some bad news in that story, then that might explain why they're so secretive.
Well, clearly there's some bad news. My theory is that the reason that permanent Washington or deep state or whatever, people who administer the system hate Trump is not because of any of his policies, which they're probably agnostic on, but because they fear that he will disclose information. I think everything's about disclosure. If you look at the federal government, its defining quality is secrecy.
That's a really good point.
Yes.
Billion classified documents. Why is that?
Right.
It's not good. It's never good. Your kids behave like that. It's not good.
No.
They're using drugs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're having sex they shouldn't be having. There's never a good reason for that kind of secrecy. It's not privacy, it's secrecy. So
right. Yes.
And there's something about Trump that makes everybody nervous that he might say more of what he knows than he should.
Well, they don't control him,
That's
obviously.
right.
So that's very nerve-wracking. I mean, how much do you think that they're just worried that he's going to pull out of NATO? How much of it is that?
Of course, that's in my daily prayers that he would do that. I don't think he's in danger of doing that. I certainly hope so. But I think it's even more fundamental. It's like this guy could say the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trump is not much of a liar, actually, by Washington standards. He's an exaggerator, of course. But actually, his defining quality is like saying the truth.
He's being honest about kind of the big issues.
The big issues, exactly.
So what do you, so you think he knows what it is?
The UAP stuff?
Yeah.
I do think that, yes.
And you think it's a NHI?
You know, he hasn't told me. But yeah, I do think he knows.
Bullshit.
Pretty sure he knows. And I'm pretty sure that everybody I've ever spoken to who I think knows a lot more than I do. I mean, what does it mean to know? Like, do we really know anything? I don't know. I'm not sure anybody fully understands this or even partially understands it, but the people who I'm confident have a lot more information than I have to a person are very, very uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
Since not in public, in private, which is another tell. That I'm just not.
Wow, that's
dude, I'm telling you,
those are really
every time he talks about the shit, it gives me more and more confidence that he knows a lot fucking more than what he's saying. And I'm telling you, man, like it goes back to when I first heard him talk about it, and he was so passionate about learning what it was and talking to everyone and finding out exactly what it was. And the more he found out, the more it scared the shit out of him to the point where he didn't want to know anymore.
And he's way more relaxed lately too.
Yeah,
talking about
I don't know. Stuff. It was interesting to hear him say that whatever he thinks it is, it was scary enough to him where he didn't want to know anymore. That's fucking wild to me.
Well, he thinks it's basically paranormal, right? He thinks it's angels and demons, right?
Yeah, I think he's letting off about it's some type of angels, some type of demon.
Well, he's deeply religious
type shit. Yeah,
he's deeply religious, so he's going to connect it to his worldview. I don't blame him for that. You know, I personally don't think they are spiritual, quote unquote. You know, interdimensional, sure.
Interdimensional. I lean interdimensional is what I lean towards.
Yeah, I do too, and especially. God, we need to do a video on Eric Weinstein's theory of dimensions. I think that one would blow our minds even just looking into it.
Well, it's wild to think that they could be right in front of our face, like literally right there.
And we just don't have the capability or consciousness
we can't
to conceive them. You know,
they come into our dimension and do like their abductions, take them into their dimensions, and then bring you back and drop you off.
I forgot who. I think it was on Danny Jones' podcast. He had some guy on talking about how dimensions could be, or life as we know it. He was really into the simulation idea that it could be as simple as like how we play on like a simulator or an RPG, where you're able to load, like, so GTA, like you load in on GTA 4, remember, or even 5, you could do the cheat codes and then all of a sudden you spawn in a plane right in front of you.
Yeah.
It could be like that, where what we are seeing are spawns essentially, like popping in and out of our world, and we are the NPCs in I mean, I know we laugh because we use NPC as like a term, right, for people that aren't thinking. But look, let's be real. Like that is kind of the most logical form of like understanding how these things can just, like, we view it as teleportation. Well, what if this teleportation that we see is just,
literally loading
doing a cheat
something
code
in
and spawning
yeah.
something in to the game.
Do you think these beans are like basically playing video games, and we're the video game NPCs?
How many times?
And they're crashing UFOs like GTA. They're crashing. Dude gets out.
How many times have you heard
Mm-hmm.
psychic people or people with
Yeah.
talk about they're receiving downloads? Like I've heard so many people say that same thing where it's like they're not seeing the future, but they're receiving downloads.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean
it's interesting.
And you can chalk it down to coincidence, but there's this like synchronicity that happens, or like a synchronization that happens, I think, in life a lot. Like the other day, I was like, dang, I was like, I want a voice or something, and then when you guys popped in, and I know that you could pass that off really quickly, but I don't know. I think there's something there, like. It could be coincidence and timing, but I'm like, shit, like it'd be nice to talk to one of you guys. All of a sudden, like, it's not even like a few minutes. It's like I look at my phone and someone was in the voice.
Bro,
like,
I literally think about shit like that all the time. I think
weird. I think there's something to it, and before we kind of wrap this one up, I want to watch the full interview with Michael Shellenberger and Tucker here, because I've found to really respect Michael Shellenberger. He's someone that politically I don't agree with him on a lot of the stuff, but he seems very trustworthy, and what he's done
as a journalist
files and everything. Yeah, as a journalist, he has integrity,
and that's hard to find nowadays.
It is. Anything you guys want to wrap up on, or do you think we've kind of said it?
I think we said it.
Everything's good to me. Yeah.
Well, appreciate you guys like always, and for whoever made it to the end of the stream or video, I thank you guys for stopping by. Have a good night.
Later, guys.
Later.